ECD, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. We are actually on page 60 of the budget.
And this is the original book that we originally got presented to us, right?
That's correct. And so if you look at the budget, there's not a lot of change and from what was requested last year. But I guess if you go and you look on page 61 where the salaries are, the project coordinator, that was actually the burn grant, and that grant has actually finished. It expired on September 30th of 2025. So that salary would not be part of this budget right here. We are actually looking to, this year, the community development specialist has been in the budget before. We are looking to hire that person this year. And if you see that the salary is at $55,000, when we had the preliminary meetings, I had actually requested the assistant grant administrator's salary be raised to $57,000. And that was actually because the community development specialist would be coming in new. Our assistant grant administrator person is someone who has been on the job for a year and a half. She came in actually with experience, and so to actually bring a new person in at $55,000, I just didn't think that was fair. So I am requesting that change there on the budget. And so if you remove the...
So the project coordinator, the funding for that is done after this year, so is that
It's
gonna?
actually done. It was done on September 30th of 2025, and that was actually the burn grant. And so none of that money actually came out of the general fund. It was a grant that we had from the Department of Justice.
But that person is still with us, right?
No,
No?
that person is
Okay.
not with us.
That's a vacant.
So the position's going to continue now, even now that the grant is over?
For the burn grant? Or, no, okay, so the assistant grant administrator is actually a person that is in the office. And so what I was saying is that the community development specialist, which was in the budget last year, we didn't hire that individual, but we look to hire that individual this year at a salary of $55,000. And so our assistant grant administrator salary is listed at $55,000,
Okay,
but
yeah, that's all understood, I'm sorry. But which position is the burn grant?
the project coordinator,
Are we eliminating that?
That's what we need to know.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that's not in the budget anymore?
No, that was part of the DOJ budget.
All right, so this will be amended by the time we vote on it then, to remove that 55,000?
And add?
And adding
how much?
2,000?
Add 2,000 to the
2,000.
assistant grant administrator's position.
Okay.
Were we gonna keep that position and it was gonna get paid from another grant? Because it's actually in the miscellaneous grant reimbursement.
I'm not sure. I know that the DOJ grant for the burn grant is complete, so that funding's done. So as far as the miscellaneous grant being listed.
Okay, we don't have any new programs or grants that you know of?
Not for DOJ.
Okay.
So it's eliminated
Yeah.
at this point.
I think there's some confusion. I'm seeing some confusion. Looking eyes over here. That this position would potentially be into another department?
No, it's gonna stay in that department, but it's not gonna be paid out of CDBG or burn grant funds. It's gonna be paid from another grant.
For which, I guess for which grant was it? You're saying miscellaneous.
It was a miscellaneous, I don't remember which one it was. I know it's in our miscellaneous reimbursement grants.
Okay, well, can we get some clarification, because I'm gonna put a note in here, eliminated if no grant fund found. Because there's no way to pay for it. Yeah.
So I would recommend that it be kept because we have several grants right now that require not fiscal monitoring and performance reporting, but actual implementation. So we have $1 million HUD grant to do blighted property acquisition and remediation. It really needs a manager. We have a $350,000 grant for in-home remediation of in-home daycares for lead, asbestos, and radon. That needs somebody to manage it, to actually get the funding out to the community. And there is funding within the grants to pay for the position, which is what Melissa's saying. So even though it's in the budget book for $55,000, it would be covered by the grants. There's also a $1 million grant from DOJ. It's called Encouraging Innovation, and it's an auto theft grant, but it requires an entire program as part of the grant. We're one of 3 communities in the country that were awarded this funding. And there's an enforcement piece, but there's also an entire prevention piece that requires facilitation, communications, focus groups, a whole marketing campaign, and somebody needs to be in charge of actually making that happen. So that would be, those are some of the things. A lot of the grants are just, they're for equipment, you're going to buy it, you're done. All you need is fiscal and performance reporting, but there are some grants like this that actually require implementation, project management.
So I also think that we're at a point with our budget after so many years of not doing a tax increase. I'm not particularly aggressive about trying to make a cut out of here that would, whereas we could leave this in, and if it's not something that's used in the transition, then it just builds in a surplus in next year's budget, which we're looking at increase as well. So I don't care to deliberate too much on this, because I think that the bottom line of it is significant for us.
So we're not going to delete it, right? Everybody's in agreement?
Is my preference.
Okay.
Is there a consensus on that?
I mean,
They
it's,
have-
it's what's presented, it has it in there, so I don't see a need in redacting it.
Right. I just wanted to make sure that we were
Okay.
clear on, where the future funding source would possibly be coming from. And they know where it's at, they're just gonna figure
Also-
it out.
But also, it's a vacant position
Right.
currently, so.
So it's not an expense.
The job description on that, if it is kept in the budget, probably needs to be updated.
There's probably a lot of things updated next year.
So most of our budget on page 60 is pretty much the same from last year. I don't know.
60.
You cut professional services out?
So actually, this was the professional memberships, Chamber of Commerce. It was actually moved to general government.
Yeah, sorry, I see
That's
that.
on the council.
Sorry, that's in smaller font. I had to get closer to the computer for it.
And then the other big change is under other services and charges
Also moved.
to the same.
Yeah, see the really small print
Oh,
under it?
yep. Wow, my eyes.
Okay.
Gotta have readers, don't we, guys? I always wear my glasses, so,
What-
Are there any other questions?
No.
Okay.
I'm done.
Thank you.
Debbie?
All right,
Thank you so much. We look forward to a new year of additional grant funding and all that good stuff.
Neighborhood Resources is up next.
And that budget is, that budget's on page 22.
So soon, right?
Yeah. Just a minute. All right. So, starting with salaries, we have 7 full-time staff in the planning department now. Biggest change, obviously, is that we've been separated, so we are our own department. Although I would like to note that that is still not changed.
By ordinance?
By ordinance, so something to maybe do at the beginning of the year. We have a software administrator, data analyst, planning director, GIS administrator, neighborhood resource team leader, assistant planner, neighborhood resource team leader, coordinator, should be, sorry. One of those should be neighborhood resource coordinator. The second one is coordinator. Neighborhood resource team leader, assistant planner, neighborhood resource coordinator, and then the historic preservation planner.
I have a question. I know that there's an increase for the GIS administrator. I wanted to know where we were with actually seeing any of the data that they would have been collecting over the last 2 or 3 years, if possible. Have we gotten any feedback? Have we gotten any information? Do we have access to an online portal that we can just click on and go like we were told a couple years ago?
So in terms of data and capturing data, I think what you're referring to is like the system with CityWorks and being able to use CityWorks to integrate into GIS. That has not gone live. So that's not something that Erin is working on right now because that's not live, and we're really unsure of what's going to happen with CityWorks at the moment. But Erin most of her work right now has been working with Public Works. That's where a lot of what she's doing with digitizing stormwater, different infrastructure. I know she's working with Jeff Gibbons on a new application for snow removal, cameras, and tracking everything through GIS. So if you'd like to see what she's been working on, we have that actually documented recently. We put together a portfolio of the department, and I can share that with you.
Yes, please
If
just
you'd
send
like
it
to
to
see.
us.
But in terms of dashboards and that type of thing, we haven't moved into that yet because we internally have a lot of mapping that we've done and things that we use to make informed decisions. But publicly, we have not gone forward with the dashboards quite yet for a variety of reasons. One of them is that some of the data is not there yet. We don't have the data to be able to report out, or that we haven't necessarily made decisions internally of how we want to share that data as well. If that makes sense.
Like we're halfway there, kinda.
So,
One of the processes that where you can make sense of it. I mean, there's 7 people up there, but we don't have a direction yet.
well, Erin Pence, the GIS administrator. Not only is she for the department, but she is citywide. So she sits in the planning department because it is what her applications and Esri is very much connected to planning and geospatially being able to analyze different information in the planning world. But she was hired to do citywide work. So that's why she's working with Public Works. She'll sometimes integrate with pulling data from the county and working with their data center. She's worked with the CRIS. I know she did the full mapping for the CRIS. So she's not only for the department, she really is
Just
citywide.
honing in on one person.
Yeah, no,
What people running around doing things everywhere.
yeah. Erin, well, I should say this position is quite specialized, and I know that I've talked to you all about this before. We would not be able to, especially the way that she's integrated into City Hall, it would be difficult to find somebody quickly to replace Erin.
I mean, I'm not against the position, I just wanted to know where we were with the GIS system. I know we've
Okay.
constantly gotten an update here and there, I haven't heard much since probably March or April. We invested a lot of money in our GIS system, so I just wanted to see if the community had access yet, is more so where I was leaning.
Yeah, yeah, the dashboards and the public-facing information is not quite there yet. Yeah, we have not progressed enough on that.
Well, I know this year we got a new website, so, you know, we're still growing pains, you know.
Any other questions with the salaries?
Your department's fully staffed, been fully staffed all year, correct? Or
No.
how's that gone?
Right now, the software administrator, the data analyst is not filled. And the reason for that is when our the last person that was in this position left City Hall, we were in the midst of moving through a different phase with CityWorks. And the management of that, which was under this person, the management really of that, it didn't make sense for us to hire a new person and then train them and get them integrated into CityWorks and to City Hall and the workflows. And so instead, with the administration's approval, we ended up working with Timmins, which is the group that CityWorks is with, or the third party, and hiring in-house at Timmins sort of a change management person to help us and guide us through this instead. So that was a change request that was approved and signed, I guess, at the beginning of this year. So eventually that position should be filled and we should have somebody looking at data and analyzing it. So we've kept it in there for now until decisions are made on how things will go with CityWorks and the different applications.
Explaining again how you're a department, but we haven't legally made you one yet?
So currently in the general administrative ordinance, right, general
114
ordinance.
through 117.
Yeah, the Department of Planning was created, I believe, in 2019, and an ordinance was then passed where Planning Department and code enforcement was part of the Planning Department. And so, yeah, so that still exists in language and in the ordinance like that. And everything else, everyone else has been staffed and has been everyone else is fully staffed.
Good to know, thank you.
So moving on to 4059, other services, which is probably the largest line item, other than salaries, is the largest line item that we have. As you see on the board, most of the funding here is for match grants, for matches for grants. So the first one at the top, which is $106,750, we've applied in March. We applied for a MAP, a state municipal assistance program grant that we have yet to hear if we received the award. We're hopeful that we have, but it's for a full rewrite of the zoning and the subdivision and land development ordinance that we spoke about yesterday. So that's the largest match that we have. And then we have the local climate action plan, which we hope possibly next year we'll be able to use maybe some ARP tree money to fund that local climate action plan. and possibly not have to use general fund funding, or maybe we'll find additional grant funding there, but we put it in as placeholder.
4059 on the report only shows $8,000 in it.
Oh, and maybe I put the wrong number.
No, you're on, no, it says 274,750.
What page are you on?
Well, page 24, is that wrong?
274,
22.
22.
22? Okay, thanks.
And then we have a series of different grants, state grants, Keystone, CLG grants, and DCNR grants that are either coming directly out of the Historic Preservation Plan, or meaning that it's been suggested that we implement certain projects or programs or initiatives, and these are matching funding streams, or matches to the funding streams. So the series of grants that you see after the 50,000 are state grants coming directly out of either the Historic Preservation Plan or it's a little bit premature, but some suggestions that we've had with the consultant for the Parks Plan. So, and then we have asked for $500 for historic preservation, for the Historic Preservation Month celebration, which we'd like to hold annually. It was well attended and well received last year, and that would be to rent the space, mailings, flyers, that type of thing. $1,000 for historic preservation community engagement, really in need of just some funding to be able to do the same thing, flyers, announcements, if we need to have something printed on canvas or whatever it may be. And the same goes for the neighborhood resource community engagement.
I hope you all get the grant, the matching grants, when you apply. Nice job. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thanks, Jay.
Engagement, you gotta go.
Happy Thanksgiving if we don't see you.
Hello.
Hello.
So our first budget is the human resource budget.
I'm gonna get really.
Sorry.
It's really quiet.
Sorry.
No, that way just everyone online can hear too. Right?
First budget is our human resource budget.
What page is that on?
That is on 29.
29.
So our operating costs have stayed the same. We have no increase in our operating expenses. Our FTEs are the same as last year. On this slide, it's a little deceiving because we did have an employee who left, our HR assistant, and we hadn't hired the new one yet. And when this budget was done, they just assumed that every employee will take the insurance. The person we hired did not, so actually that last line is about $30,000 less than that. So it just looks like it went way up when really it is not.
Well, you did hire someone for that yet?
We did. She starts in December.
Cool.
This is just a current snapshot of the City of Erie employees by bargaining unit. We have a total of 805 active employees with 2 open positions right now. Full-time employees, 673, and we did add, just because we still work with retirees, and we have 155 retirees that are still on the city's insurance.
Wait, really? We have only 2 openings out of 805 positions right now?
We're doing really good right now.
That's amazing.
I know.
Yeah, we're not gonna have a budget surplus, but that's,
And yeah, we feel.
yeah, that's great.
So it just kind of shows also the diversity data there is current as of today. Any questions?
We're not very diverse.
Oh, shocking.
It's changed. It kind of goes up and down. People come and go.
I mean, like, probably every one of our sections is not diverse. I realize it's all men on there, but like the police force, the fire department, the Teamsters, yeah, those are all. And then the AFSCME, yeah, everyone is not diverse, and then in the opposite ways.
For your year, did you have most of your office staffed?
We had a little period there where we did not have until we've just filled the position.
I mean, last year we had a lot of
Yeah.
different departments that had a lot of vacancies, so, I wanted to see how the year was.
We have a good group,
Good.
good team.
Do we have any bargaining units that are getting ready to go into negotiation?
We are
for the next
currently
phase?
negotiating the AFSCME contract.
Okay.
Hope to have that completed by the end of the year.
Okay.
Tomorrow, actually, that's where I will be all day.
Okay. That sounds like a blast. Are there any other that are coming up for negotiation?
I don't think so.
Not next year.
Not next year, I think it's
Okay.
the year after.
Okay.
Don't have it in front of me.
The only reason I ask is if we're getting ready to go into, there's potential that some of this shifts, right? So the budget will shift too as we go into whatever the contract negotiates.
Yes.
So just for us to keep that in mind. So if they're going in tomorrow, hopefully we'll get some resolution, and then we might have to shift numbers and play with numbers.
Yes, because whatever is finalized for salaries
Will come back for
would
all,
make a
yeah.
difference, yes.
The firefighters and the Teamsters expire at the end of '27, so we'll be negotiating both in '27.
Okay.
Nothing next year. And the contingency, the AFSCME employees are budgeted at this year's rates right now. And the contingency amount in general government is, part of that is to cover any increases that come through.
And you think that's an adequate amount? That's something that we had to adjust, I think, 2 years ago for one of the, that we're in a good
fire.
spot with that? The
Yeah,
contingency?
yeah, hopefully. I mean, I can't tell you what's going to happen.
And she
but-
doesn't know what it's going to end up being. She doesn't have a crystal ball.
We don't want to say that right now either. I mean, they don't want to play your cards like that.
At least we don't have to worry about the fire and the police. I mean, yeah, the fire and the,
The fire's done. Police is off for 8 years.
you said what's for 27?
Fire expires in '27, and so does Teamsters.
Teamsters.
So we got a couple years.
It's in the management book, page 3. Or the council book.
Civil service.
Okay, next up, civil service. Small budget, primarily, there's no salaries or anything in it. It is dedicated to expenses related to hiring of police and fire. We did have a fire test this year because we were able to increase the application fees from $50 to $80. About close to 11,000 of that 28,000 was covered by the application fees. So
That's good. That's real good.
And then next year, we're looking at possibly maybe 10 police and 6 fire, but, you know, depending on retirements. No, that's a fairly simple budget. Any questions?
No, we thank you for your service.
All right, risk management, thanks.
The risk manager had a family emergency this morning, so she is unable to make it tonight. We are going to try to discuss the risk budget with the help of Lisa. Obviously, very large budget.
Page 87.
Yep.
All right, from a structural perspective, the risk is broken down to 3 parts. Workers' comp, is this close enough? Is it good?
Yeah.
All right, workers' comp, property and liability, and employee health plans. Each of these 3 parts have to be reimbursed 100% and by the general funds and other funds that it's servicing. So the workers' comp, in the employee calculations, each employee is coded at there's different codes for each union. You know, the higher risk employees pay a higher rate of workers' comp. And those are calculated and applied to each department by number of employees. The property and liability, all the items that are up on here. You've got general liability insurance, all of our property insurance, insurance on public officials and police, and liquor license, and professional liability for police, claims, auto insurance, cyber insurance, and public entity employee benefit liability.
All that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Could you explain just the liquor insurance? What does that
That's
mean?
with
Yeah, go ahead.
the golf course.
Okay,
The one golf course has.
the liquor license. Okay,
Yeah. So there's a small policy for that.
gotcha. That's what, okay. I was like, is it our after party? I don't know.
And the claims that occur within the property and liability, I think you might remember last year we had to appropriate more fund balance. It covers lawsuits against employees or against the city, damage done to people's mailboxes, damage done to our vehicles. A couple of years ago, it covered the 3 trucks that were burned. Just any sort of claims. Now, some of those get reimbursed and some of them don't. I mean, when we can, we try to take it to court and get reimbursed, or file claims with the insurance, the other parties' insurance companies. But yeah, sometimes that stuff comes through within the current year, and sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years to come through. So we're just basing that on the last couple of years. And
Do we have data tracking just the claims, like how many claims versus last year versus how many lawsuits versus last year, or just a trend? Not necessarily what has come through or the departments, but just like, are we seeing an increase, decrease? Is it staying the same?
I don't think there's a graph.
we haven't looked at it that way. We kind of look at what's in the pipeline and just try to make our estimates based on that, because we know what's outstanding and what hasn't come through yet. And we have a meeting with the insurance broker, and they go through all the outstanding claims with us in October usually.
Okay.
So that gives us a little assistance in trying to figure out the next year's budget.
Is that what this one is? Almost, kind of a little bit? Just what we're projecting?
Well, this is all the different components of your property and liability insurance budget and what percentage they make out of the total amount.
And the biggest is the green, which is the employee health,
Yeah.
obviously.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Do you want to talk
Yeah.
about employee
Yeah.
health?
Sure. That's something I'm pretty passionate about because I know there's opportunity out there for us to do a better job with that and to not have to pay as many claims as we've been paying. But in order for us to get through that, it'd be a project and it's an educational project. There's something, there's things that can be done to make it a win-win for the city and for the employee. But we just need to take the time and we need to educate people on what those things are. And again, it's not a knee-jerk reaction. It's something we've been looking at for years. But we got to have cooperation from the unions. And I'm not saying we don't have the cooperations. I don't think it's been introduced yet. So I'm looking forward to hopefully this year taking some time to educate them on how we could improve. There may be some changes, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's going to be more expensive for them as an individual.
Right.
So, and our broker has been very good about keeping on this and helping us to understand it. And again, there are things that can be done, and hopefully we will get approval to do it as a project and involve the unions to make some change. Bring.
Do we have to keep it close to the chest on what those things are to be done?
Well,
Don't want to negotiate until after contracts are out?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
yeah, it would be, we don't have to necessarily wait until we're negotiating contracts. I think, because we don't have any coming up next year, so I think next year would be a good time to take a look at this, get a team together, bring in the broker. Eric Consiglio from Laisel Shop is very, very good about explaining all this. He brings it down to my level. And it's been interesting, and it's something I think we should do, and I hope the administration will take a look at that and allow us to take that forward and try and get them to understand it and to work with us on it.
Well, hopefully with the new year and with not having contracts to negotiate, we can put some focus behind this, because as somebody who's had the city's insurance, every year that I've had it, it's gone up. So,
Yeah.
as a young person, and I'm only one person, I don't know how people who have husbands or wives to add, and then children to add to the coverage, how expensive that gets. So anything to help people save on healthcare costs, I'm in favor of. So I look forward.
We also did something, and
No, you're good?
yeah, we did something in 2023 with the pharmacy. The pharmacy is very expensive. And we moved to TrueRx, and we were getting rebates on that. I had the numbers here somewhere. And here we are. So since we implemented this in 2023, to date, we've had $1.2 million in rebates. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And, but we did have one group that, we moved everybody over, one group moved back off of it, and we'd like to try and encourage them to
Move
maybe
back.
understand it a little better and move
Yeah.
back.
I think it's an education thing. Everybody just, sometimes they're missing the information and they feel like they're forced into something, so they don't like the idea.
There was a little bit of pain because, you might have had a what do you call that, a prior auth in place. And we moved to the old pharmacy benefit manager would not give the prior auths to the new one. So we had to go and get them all over again. And everybody was like, oh, I got to talk to my doctor, I got to get another prior auth. And so that was a little bit of a pain. But interestingly enough, when the group moved back onto Express Scripts, TrueRx said, here you go, here's your prior auths. So they're a really good company to work with. And hopefully we can look at that again.
Yeah, and I foresee this being an area when we get into the health, just of what the federal predictions are going to be, that this is going to continue
Yes.
to be a huge pain point,
Yep.
and I don't
Yes.
foresee the trend going down. I see it going in another direction. at least for the next few years. And so this is an area I'm very worried about.
Me
And
too.
I don't know that this is going to be a huge hit for, I mean, we're not going to be the only employer that's going to be dealing with this, but
Right.
it's going to be a huge hit.
It's a national trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and our hit's a little bit bigger because we've got really substantial insurance.
And we are self-insured, so we pay claims.
Right.
So part of it is trying to move some of the claims off the city, but still make it palatable for the employee.
Like I said, it's a conversation I look forward to, so I'm in favor of anything we can do to help alleviate the cost on our employees. So if we have to do a little homework, then we do homework, so.
Okay.
Now, we put this budget together before we had all the final
Numbers.
numbers.
So
from the-
you are absolutely correct.
That
It's
would-
much higher than what is
What
on
we're going
this
to be seeing.
paper. Right.
That's where I think that's just where I get worried is, and one of the many offsets we've had to maybe, I know we're increasing salaries, but one of the draws has always been the insurance plan, and this is going to just, I think, make it exponentially hard. I'm glad we see the number of 2 openings, like that's where we are, but I mean, I think that we're going to, just like the county and the school district, we're going to see a battle here within the next few years. So there's going to have to be, I think, us as a council, like just being aware of, there's going to be some dances that we have to do to make sure we're keeping people, and because this is going to become very hard for our community. So I hear you, is what I'm saying.
Any other
Anything
questions?
else, Carol?
I think that's it.
Okay, on the good side, we did manage to renew, one of our stop loss was going to go up 60%, and we worked with the broker,
Yeah.
and he managed to find another company to switch us to, and we're going up, what, 28%?
Yeah, instead of
So
60.
we managed to save some money on that.
I didn't hear the beginning
The
part of that.
stop loss?
Okay, the stop loss. Okay.
Stop loss is people that,
We pay claims up to a certain dollar amount, I think it was 210,000.
yeah, we changed,
We've
yeah.
now increased that to 250,000, moved to another stop-loss carrier, and isolated out a couple of claims. We had to do that. So instead of a 60% increase, like Lisa said, it's a 28% increase.
And that's also going to have a positive effect on future years because the base amount that's going to be increased is lower. So,
Well, we appreciate you all doing your due diligence to try to save a little bit of money.
Questions so when we're looking at these numbers right now, this includes the zoo, this includes the current stuff that we have, and this includes Miller Brother property moving forward?
yes.
I don't know about
For
Miller.
the
does it?
liability?
For Miller Brothers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if depending on what happens
So
with
those
the
numbers can all
zoo
shift
and how
again
soon.
there too,
We
okay.
could
And
get
I think the zoo's about $70,000 worth of insurance a year.
I think you're right.
Thank you.
So if we transfer that off, we'll save that.
All right, terrific. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate all your hard work.
Last on the agenda for today, we've got general fund revenues.
What page is that?
That is
Thank you.
page 13 and 14. I'm going to move over and have a little more room. Okay, so you'll see the graph that Melissa put up. Our budget is 78% taxes. That includes income tax, LST, and property taxes. And, 14% in grants and reimbursements. And the other 8% are all the other things, like most of what's on this page, these 2 pages. So the taxes are in the first section. We've got real estate taxes, and we use the, oh my God, I just lost the tax values, the assessment from June 30th. And we used the new millage rate and calculated out what the revenue would be and took 91% of it because we collect about 91% by the end of the year. Some of that comes back the next year online to real estate taxes prior. And several of these taxes, the income tax, non-resident income taxes and LST, and there's something else, the special levy for the pension, that all comes from Berkheimer, and that comes from people's paychecks. And I used, Berkheimer's really good at helping us with our projections for the next year, so they gave us their estimates, and we looked at that in conjunction with our current year and past several years' experience, and that's where these numbers came from.
When it comes with 3150, seeing the number, like what we've collected so far, are we expecting one more round of a boost to come back in through there, like just to fill us out through the rest of the year?
You said 3150?
3150, the income tax of the non-resident.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this second column from the right is where we're at currently. And the income taxes come in every quarter. Now, the property taxes, we're pretty much almost at where we're going to end for the year. We don't get a lot in November and December. You know, maybe a couple of million. But, so, yeah, we'll probably hit our budget, but we're not going to go very much above it. But for the income taxes, we'll get a full quarter's worth. I mean, October was a...
Can end.
Right, the October 31st would be the deadline for paying the third quarter taxes. And then the fourth quarter ends up in the next fiscal year. But there's always stragglers coming in. There's always revenues. There's revenues, income tax revenues that get billed every month, and there's other ones that pay by the quarter. So that's a consistent revenue stream.
Thank you.
The amusement tax, we just looked at where we're at right now, where we expect to be, and talked to Mr. Rocco a little bit and came up with $370,000 for next year. The licenses and permits, we talked to, some of these are code enforcement and some of them are engineering. And we discussed where we're at. Some of these are down from prior years, and some of them are coming up.
Yeah, I see the childcare facilities down quite a bit from previous years.
Yeah.
It's kind of alarming considering how many fires we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something we're going to have to look at. Let's see, amusement licenses, you see we haven't collected any revenue as of October. We collected $36,000 in October and the first part of November. And we're not sure what's going to happen here with the state, and whether the state's going to end up collecting these taxes.
Supreme Court hearing today about it.
Do you know how it came out?
Just listened to a little bit
Oh,
this
okay.
afternoon.
Yeah. So, yeah, we decided to knock that back a little bit. Again, conversation with Dave Rocco.
Could you help me better understand that one?
The,
Amusement licenses.
it's just
It's a skill game registration.
Gotcha.
games a chance.
But in the meantime, they're trying to determine whether skill games are actually gambling or not, based on the definition. So that's at the PA Supreme Court literally today.
Okay.
And if that happens, then
This,
they'll just stop existing. Not entirely, but
in
pretty
theory,
much.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So then we can't get any revenue off of them.
Okay.
Let's see, the plumbing inspections is higher than last year, and we project it to be higher next year because of the lead pipe replacements that are going up. Yeah, the license and permits is pretty stable.
I see there was a bit of a jump for the rental licenses, and I wonder if that had anything to do with the code enforcement officer that was specific for renter units.
Yeah,
and
that did raise that.
Okay, because I know that that's position still currently open, correct? As someone, I know I had a conversation where it's filled? Okay, all right, cool.
I was looking for Eunice.
Good, I like to hear that.
Okay. Cable TV franchise is just going to keep dropping. I mean, there's fewer and fewer people paying for cable.
I mean, right now, all the streaming is the way to go. Even the available sports NFL teams are on the streaming sources right now. Like, you get special Monday night games on this and Thursday night games over here, and it's a dying industry.
Thursday games, come on, man, hurry up.
Yeah.
I forgot you're a football player.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Thursday night?
I do have a question just around, if and this, I guess, is open for whoever would like to answer. Have we seen an increase in licensing requests with LRTA and CRIS? Are we expecting some of these to kind of, I know we're seeing a little projections here, but where are we kind of at with what we were seeing just with LRTA and stuff passing? Do we know? That's a very specific question for you, and I
Yeah.
understand if, yeah.
Well, nothing that I could connect specifically to LRTA or CRIS.
That makes me sad. Okay, I'm hoping that's the data shows that we start to see some of those go up, because those are the tools that are there for that.
I mean, the Chris stuff, they just wouldn't have it yet. Like, that
Yeah,
would be-
it's
that
too
would be-
too early.
Brand new.
And LRTA has been in place for 6 years now, so we haven't seen any changes in trends there, I would think. Just consistency.
All right, let's see, the zoning fees, yeah, nothing unexpected there. We're just kind of going with this year's budget. Don't expect it to change. The fines, let's see, the parking fines are dropping. And just from talking to people, I suspect that it's because of the fact that there are no meters on State Street anymore. And they're getting more people signing up for the app. More people are paying. So,
It's a learning thing. It's
Yeah.
growing pains. Sometimes when you introduce new technology, it's a little hard to figure it out.
and we did download the activity and the number of tickets and project it out based on, how many tickets we usually write these months and prior years and all that. So it's a scientific projection,
So
and it's
data's
dropping.
demonstrating the opposite of all the complaints we're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine, I keep ignoring
I mean, I would have to know, I don't know how much revenue is increasing on meters, because that's a parking authority thing, but I'm suspecting that.
Last conversations I had with Mr. Friday were very, just emulated what you just shared, is we do receive some complaints, but they're actually seeing more people paying with the app. So, yeah. And I know there was a request for more of the installations of where people can go to the different machines, but the costs of the machines was so outrageous that it would offset any savings and actually make the prices per hour go up pretty astronomical. So that he was advocating against that and keeping everything still on the app, because it saved Erie residents quite a bit of money to not do that. Tangent, sorry.
Okay, so the miscellaneous section, interest, we're going to go surpass our budget this year, but it's dropping, and we expect it to drop, a couple more times, right, Chuck?
Well,
No?
watch the stock market this afternoon.
Well, back in October, didn't we? I don't know.
Might not be cutting interest rates as fast as we were thinking.
Well, that'd be a good thing, so we're under budgeted if that happens. And the grants and reimbursements? We made a change to the way we presented the budget last year. We had these in two separate sections, and we decided to combine them. And the grants and reimbursements consist of, like, these top 5 or 6 are, I can't say random because we know they're out there, but we don't get them every year. But, you know, we know what we're going to expect next year. So the federal and state operating grants, and some of these we get every year. The state aid, that would be 3358 account number. That has been increasing every year, and this year we got 6 million. So we budgeted to keep that level because we had heard that it might start dropping. You know, that they don't know if it's going to stay at that level. So we decided to keep this level next year. Let's see. The two that are making up the most of this reimbursement revenue are the central service reimbursement. That's coming from the other funds to help pay for administrative costs and to help pay for this building and the computer systems and everything that the general fund budget pays for. And we've got the municipal garage reimbursement. There's a page in the council book that'll show you what those look like. And the ARP reimbursement, 3679. Do you have a slide? No? Oh. Okay, the ARP reimbursement, page 10 in your council book, if you want to look at what the ARP reimbursement is. The ARP is, well, 22.5 million of that is the police officers. And, well, this is their budget. We actually take this down by other grant revenue that's coming in from other sources. The COPS grant and, can't remember the name of the other grant. Shout it out if you know it. The VIP grant. So those two are reducing the amount of ARP we need for the police officers. This next section, administrative, the grant administrator, part of my salary, and the grant accountant's full salary are coming out of this, are getting reimbursed by ARP. And also the GIS administrator and data analyst in the planning department. So all of those things add up. And like I said, we subtract any sort of funding that's coming from the, oh, it's right here. PCCD, VIP, and COPS grants. It's the amount down here in yellow. That's the amount of money that we're getting from other grants that helps this ARP revenue last longer. Another reimbursement is the CDBG reimbursement, and that is on page 11. So if you want to stay in the council book.
So, I don't know, I don't have,
You got
Yeah.
lost.
no, I'm missing
You can't find your...
page 10.
Oh, okay.
Like, it literally goes from 8, and then I get a blank page. See, blank page, and then another blank page somewhere, right here. General fund.
Oh, here comes Melissa.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so page 11 shows you the, all the reimbursements that are coming in from grant revenue. We've got development services. And development services is paying for the director and the fiscal accountant that, you know, handles the loans. And we've got administrative reimbursement for the project coordinator and the PALS coordinator. So that adds up to 378.9, and that's the miscellaneous reimbursements that you see on the general fund revenue page. And the bottom part of that is the DECD reimbursements. And we're getting $904,000 from DECD for that staff. So like I said, that's our second biggest revenue component.
And that part's been confirmed with the most recent budget pass. Like, we're absolutely getting that money.
That money is based on the salary information that's attached to the DECD budget. So if they don't hire those people, we won't get reimbursed for them, you know, like that position that's not filled.
But I mean, like, so we know that's how much money's coming in from DCED. Like,
It's based on actual hours worked, so if last year Sherry Loringer only did 75% on CDBG, you know, we're only gonna get 75%, but it's based on hours worked.
okay, so it's like a,
Now, the development people are, that's pretty much guaranteed, but the CDBG's on a percentage.
okay.
But like I said, if we don't hire those people, we won't pay,
Right.
we won't pay for them and we won't get reimbursed for them.
My worry is just just where we are again, looking at the federal projections of 14% being in grant reimbursement. I know we're getting, these are reimbursements. I worry about what it looks like as we move into this next year. Just with a lot of these positions, because there's just going to be a lot of moving parts. And as we start to tackle this balance, or this budget again, the grant reimbursement is going to probably be very different, just if the federal climate stays where the federal climate has stayed. And so as we're looking at the positions and we're taking all this into account, just booknoting it for us.
Yeah, the ARP reimbursement will, that money is within the city budget already. So we will be reimbursing out of a fund that we've already brought in. So that money is already available. The HUD is already approved, so I don't see that going away.
HUD's on a different calendar year, so they're on a fiscal calendar year, they go from July to June. So we for sure have it through
June.
2026. Then in January, they're gonna have to start, you know, doing all their processes to get that money settled.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the general fund revenues? I just wanted to mention the sewer fund. We did the revenues for that, but we still haven't gotten the final data on that. So there could be, if there's anything egregious there, we might need to make a couple of changes. But we're still waiting for actual data to come through. And this happens every year with the risk and the sewer. So let's see, liquid fuels revenue, page 85, that comes from a state calculation. And we, those numbers were released, so the liquid fuels number is the number that we will be getting next year. Capital improvements, we'll be dealing with that in the Wednesday meeting. And we already discussed risk revenue and all the others, so I think that's it. Questions?
No, sounds like we're good.
Yep, we're
Thank you very
good,
much.
good, good. Thank you, you did a great job. We appreciate you making it easy to follow along and explaining anything that you felt needed to be explained. You do a great job, Lisa, thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, everybody have a good, oh no, we're not done yet, sorry.
The longest one yet, because it was a little cooler in here.
Everyone's getting up and leaving, I'm like, okay, everybody have a good day, let's go.
Dress for the 80-degree temperature here.
It's definitely a different temperature in here this week.
Good. I think I got a little bruise on my knee today.
Alrighty.
4 of them on my arms.
For the good of the order, we are done.